The next morning, the forest team headed out for the city of Jalalabad. Our first mission was to investigate Afghanistan's last remaining evergreen forests, located in the steep mountains of Nangarhar, Kunar, and Nuristan provinces. During the Civil War, various Mujahideen factions took control of these forests to sell the wood in exchange for weapons or food. The practice continued under the Taliban, and there were rumors that there wasn't a tree left standing. When the Karzai government came to power, they issued an immediate ban on all further timber cutting. But reportedly, the cutting continued, as the profits to be made were far higher than the penalties. When we arrived in Jalalabad, we were informed by a UN field officer that the security conditions in the region had taken a turn for the worse. U.S. Special Forces were currently battling with Al-Qaeda along one of the main access roads, and our mission wasn't given authorization to continue outside of Jalalabad. Disappointed by this news, we decided to make the best of the situation. If we couldn't get into the forests, we'd let the forests come to us. Posing as buyers, we headed off to visit the local timber markets. Hoping for a big sale, the merchants were more than happy to show us around and answer our questions. It turned out that the market was a goldmine of information. Every stall we visited was fully stocked with 700-kilogram blocks of cedar. Each block had been hauled out of the forest in an unbelievable way.
4 men is required to carry this one.
Four guys carry one of those.
They have a special pillow on their shoulders and backward, yeah.
4 men.
4 men, yeah. 4 men. He said.
The merchants confirmed that the cutting continues, and up to 100 fully loaded trucks can be seen leaving the forested valleys per day. This is approximately 1,000 trees a day, covering the size of 100 football fields. They estimated that the remaining timber would be gone in less than a decade, and that the cutting had already reduced the forests by 50%. But while things were good now, they were concerned about the future. You ask if business is good?
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
But very good, yes. Yes. They are satisfied. But they are pity that it is near to be finished. They are sad.
Some of the merchants had also personally experienced the environmental consequences of overharvesting.
I told them what will be the result. You will come under threat of flood. You will be migrated. Your wildlife will not be anymore. Your animals and agricultural land and everything will be finished. And even you will be migrate, mass immigrate. He said, we have seen. He said, we faced. Yeah. He said, yeah. He said, the wives, ladies, children, animals, all this has been. Yeah. And Klangar Valley has been moved out by flood. Yeah. He said, we saw this. That's right.
With this information in mind, we then turned our attention at understanding who was responsible for the cutting. It turned out that the saws were in the hands of the local communities. They were harvesting the timber in order to earn a basic income, but they were being forced to cut above sustainable levels as timber traders applied pressure through the threat of violence. The traders would pay local people approximately $100 per tree, then export most of it to Pakistan, where they could earn 20 times the price. The situation was a threefold tragedy for Afghanistan. Both the profits and the wood were leaving the country, and the communities were suffering from the environmental consequences caused by overharvesting. After 2 days in the markets, we then paid visits to government authorities and non-governmental organizations to find out what was being done to bring the situation under control.
we cannot completely control the transporting of the timbers.
Do you have vehicles?
No, we don't have vehicle, we don't have communication system, we don't have actual office. Nangarhar province have 22 districts, but we have the 9 districts forestry staff.
The ministry clearly lacked any capacity to address the problem, so we turned to see what non-governmental organizations were doing. One of them, named SERV, was in the process of conducting a small reforestation project in the district of Nazian and offered to take us on a field visit. We obtained UN security authorization to enter the area only because SERV had gained the trust of the local communities. When we arrived on site, we met with local village leaders to understand the problems they faced.
He said
in the former time, when the government was strong, they had technicians here. And those technicians had also some what's called some like village worker to watch the forest area. They had a salary from government side. They were looking for the forestry. The system was good. When the government of the former government collapsed and this conflict came out, then all this forest and area, all those which were left, all has finished. He said all mountains had good forest, but due to the poorness of poverty of the people, they cut it. They are cutting the wood and bring it through mule and donkey to downward, and they sell it to the other people. That's the only source of this income that's yours.
But with the forests largely gone and their crops decimated by drought, the villagers were turning to other sources of income.
He said we didn't get good yield from our crops and drought is pressing us. What should we do? If they kill us, we will grow opium.
As an alternative to poppy production, SERV was promoting reforestation and the sale of forest products. Within each village, SERV would give one person 400 seeds and teach them how to germinate the seedlings. In return, the person agreed to plant and manage 200 seedlings at the deforested sites. The remaining 200 seedlings were his to sell in local markets. Each year, SERV would return to the village to measure progress. The person would receive another 400 seeds based on the success of last year's crop, and the process would repeat. When we arrived, the program was still in a testing phase. Only a limited number of eucalyptus trees had been planted at a local school. Nevertheless, the early results were impressive.
1 year. These are 1 year old.
These non-native species were selected because their fast rates of growth would provide immediate shade cover and soil protection. The next round of planting would involve native species of oak and pine. The challenge was immense, but there was a real chance for success because the local communities were in control of the process and were directly benefiting from the results. From the villages of Nazian, we returned to Jalalabad and then to Kabul. Along the route, we had the chance to take in some of the dramatic sights, landscapes, and pieces of history.